the only way that I can come to Duncanville is if I can work under Coach Samples. And she
Mm.
goes, well, you got to go interview with Coach Samples. I can't speak for his program, but what I can do is I can put you in front of him. So I said, please put me in front of him. If it don't work out, then I'm good where I am at Crowder. So went in there with Coach Samples, man. Long story short, we had about a 2-hour interview. And he looked at me. He says, hey, man, you seem pretty sharp. What is your ambition in this profession? And he was on one side of the desk, I was on the other side. And I said, well, my main goal is to be on your side of the desk, asking somebody else the same question that you just asked me. And he kind of started laughing. He was just like, man, you gonna do all right here. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, I hope so. So those 5 years I was at Duncanville, man, I was a sponge. I paid attention to everything that Coach Samples did. I would go in his office. A lot of times he's in his office and he's handling business, but he has a lot of free time. So I would go in there all the time and I would ask him, hey, what are you looking for when you hiring coaches? And how do you deal with a parent that's irate? What are your core values? And with delegation, like how are you able to trust people so much with your program that you're able to delegate? I mean, I'm asking him all those questions, and he would
Ooh.
tell me everything, right? So the whole time I'm just writing notes. I'm listening in the meetings when we're having coaches meetings, and sometimes those coaches meetings get hectic,
Yeah.
especially in a place like Duncanville. And I'm writing notes. I just paid attention to a lot of stuff that he did, and I brung everything with me.
Yeah, and we're gonna lead up to that. We're gonna lead up to your job now. I want to kind of pick at that a little bit. Two questions. What was your mindset? How did you feel before you went into that Duncanville interview with Coach Sample? Did you feel like I'm gonna knock this out, or was it a little like, man, I don't know how this gonna turn out?
Whenever I've never really had an interview except for this one.
Mm-hmm.
When I was going and talking to him, I already knew I was going to get the job, not because I'm arrogant, but because God works in mysterious ways. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And I think at that time I was supposed to be there, so nothing was going to stop it. And I just went in there and I was just me. And interview that I thought was going to last for maybe 15, 20 minutes lasted for like 2 hours. Well, we talked
Mm-hmm.
about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So me and him, we had a common goal. We had the same mindset. So I knew it was going to work out.
And then you say you asked them about how to deal with parents, how to do this, how to do that. What's one of those things that stood out? What's one of those little nuggets that he gave you that stood out, Coach?
His main point of being at Duncanville is not to win games, and that's what people don't understand. If you ask anybody on his staff, or if you ask any kid that's ever played for him, the main thing that he talks about is being a man of character.
Mm.
And he preaches it all the time about having good character, and good character take you a long way. And he's about to play in the state championship, and all of the guys on his team have great character. All of his coaches, he replaced, I want to say, 12 or 13 coaches,
Mm-hmm.
which normally would be a big hit for a program. But his program, the program runs itself, so it don't matter who's in it. You know what I mean? If one good coach comes out, another good coach is going to come in, and he's going to make that good coach even better. Just
Mm-hmm.
like he did to all of us. So it just speaks volumes of him as a head coach and how he runs his program.
Boy, that's a nugget, Coach. I really enjoy what you just said right there. So what's if we finna get to Lancaster? What is it about Sam? Is it just character? Is he X's and O's? Is he a relationship? What is because he's the most winning African American coach in Texas high school football. What is it that make him him?
His expectations,
Mm.
his expectations of you as a coach. Uh, if you ever are to work for Coach Samples, you better know where your kids are at all times. You better know what their grades are in their classes, if they have any zeros at all times. You better be the best coach at your position. Just meaning that you always have to learn, you always have to come up with new things. Uh, you better be able to answer any question that he has before he asks the question. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
which means that you just have to stay on your toes. And a lot of people love, like I absolutely love working in the program. because it made me into the coach I am today. Some people don't like working for them because some people don't like having that type of expectations put on their head. And
Man.
that's being real.
Mm-hmm. So you're there for how long were you there, Coach?
5 years.
I thought so. Walk me through that next big step because this is probably the biggest one out of all of them.
Was there for 5 years, and the interview process, I thought I wasn't going to be ready for. I knocked it out the park because a lot of the stuff that they asked me was the stuff that I had to do as an assistant at Duncanville. And also what I had to do as a head track coach at Duncanville. So I had the answers, and I didn't make up anything. I actually was able to tell them what I did as far as, and how do I handle grades, and like this year in the whole program, all the way down to 8th grade, we only had 3 kids fail. So the stuff that they asked me, I was actually able to bring it to the table. I wasn't just talking so I can get this job. And the last 5 years prepared me for how to set up my summer workouts, because we did the exact same thing that we did at Duncanville with a little twist on it, with my little twist. That's how it's going to be. How we practice, the intensity of practice, teaching kids how to practice effectively, where we can go our number one defense versus our number one offense and don't get anybody injured at practice. And then the level of expectations that I have from my coaches. But with me being a young coach, that doesn't mean anything to these coaches here. They understand that my role is my role, and the expectations that I have for you, I'm never going to waver from. And so now it's funny that I see my assistant coaches are working just as hard as I did as an assistant coach, and hopefully one of these days I can help them get a head job.
So I had your quarterback Glenn Rice on the podcast the other day, and he said you brought a business-like attitude to the program. I thought that was a great compliment. Talk to me about the vision for this program, Coach. What's your goals for this Lancaster program? I think it's a story program. It's a big-time job, to be honest.
Yeah.
Talk to me about, because it's almost like a ministry with you. This is a big job. What's your expectations with this thing?
My expectations within the next couple of years is, no matter what state you're in the United States of America, if anybody says anything about football, they have to mention Lancaster. And though that's something that I'm working for, that's something that I want these coaches to work for, that's something that I want these kids to work for. And the reason why I can say that, and I say that to some people, and they're like, "Oh, baby steps." No, I've seen it done. I've seen Coach Samples take a 2-8 team.
Yep.
You won 2 games, lost 8. To now, any state that you're in, if you mention Duncanville, they're going to think of the football team or the basketball team, which Coach Peavy is a great coach over there as well. But that is the type of environment, that's the type of program that I want, and that I want to work hard to make sure it happens.
When you got there, what is some of the what is something you implemented as a coach when you got to Lancaster?
Man, check me out. So I keep God first. All the time. I don't want to say I preach to these kids, because I don't want to, have somebody, believe in something that they don't believe in. I don't preach religion, but I know where my blessings come from. I know, despite of any, through a win or a loss, I'm gonna give God the glory. I'm in my Bible all the time. I make sure that I take things from the Bible and let our kids see that this was spoken about many years ago, but it's still relevant to until today. This is how we have to live, and I keep God first, man. And my whole life I've never wanted for anything. I've always had